Your Excellency, Mr. President, the Chief of Staff, Deputy Chief of Staff, Deputy Minister of Youth and Sports, the Head of State Protocol and other protocols observed. First and foremost, I need to thank you as the President for allowing this very unique situation. I know your time is precious, and I've always been very wary of the amount of effort and time you put into state affairs. But it is key to us that we've been able to get this recognition today, to be able to present to you, Your Excellency, the 4 trophies. We believe that rugby, in the union form, is the most successful team sport in Ghana over the last 4 years. We've won the West Africa 1D. We have won the Bronze Cup, in which we defeated Mauritius in the final. We also, in 2019, the ladies, for the first time ever, went to Tunisia. And for some, it was the first trip, and they won the Challenge Trophy, beating Zambia, who were very highly ranked in the final. The men, at the third time, then went to South Africa, and they also won the Challenge Trophy. So during your tenure, Your Excellency, we've been able to win the 4 trophies, and we are very proud, and we are very honored that we've been allowed to come. But I think it's just important, very briefly, if I could touch, because I know time is not on our side. In the 60s, I went to a school in the United Kingdom called Glengors, and we used to play sports against a school called Homewood House. I would like to think we beat Homewood House from time to time, but they also played rugby. And the point I'm making is that I have known a few powerful gentlemen, but I've never met a president in Africa whose understanding of sports, and therefore transports as we called it, is quite as complete as His Excellency. His understanding of rugby, cricket, hockey, soccer, boxing, and other sports, tennis, may surprise you that if we were to pit him against, I'm always politically incorrect, President Rawlins or President Akufo or President Mahama, you might find that His Excellency would not only know more, but would beat them in the different disciplines. So he has a total understanding of what sports is about. I was asked by a global businessman once, what can we get for His Excellency? And I said to them, do you know the wisdom book of cricket? Unfortunately, he didn't know what it was, but it was the almanac of cricket, which would then give the history and understanding of the statistics and data with which, if you are knowledgeable about the game, you need. My younger brother and I often speak in the UK, and we met recently, and he said to me, he made a comment to me, which I think is important to pass on in this short time, that he said, Herbert, I said, yes, Bernard. He says, do you know when you speak to His Excellency, you only have to speak for 20 seconds. He understands exactly what you're saying. And I said, yes. And I'm sure that the senior people here understand that the mind is so fast, so fluid, so developed that he really does understand what is going on, which we need to do in sports across the board. I think that people should also recognize something else, which is what gives me great pleasure in coming here. I, in a previous life, controlled mobile telephony through most of Africa and part of the world. And it emanated after a certain very prominent lawyer of high renown was instrumental in bringing the Millicom franchise to Ghana. And off the back of the Millicom franchise, which we know as Mobitel, I eventually became the representative for Motorola. The same eminent lawyer brought DHL to Ghana. I mention this because the understanding of business by His Excellency, who brought the 2 franchises plus NKF and other franchises to Ghana, means that he understands and has a pretty comprehensive understanding of business and global business. We in Ghana Rugby run it on a global basis. Our coaches are from Zimbabwe, from the United Kingdom, from South Africa. Our doctors are from South Africa. We took a leaf and a mantle when we started our vision, understanding that we cannot depend on government. Government has a number of roles to play, and certainly sports is dear to the hearts of government. But if we want to compete globally, we have to put programs together for training, for development, for expansion, and for success within growth that would emanate from a business basis. So we have invested over a period of time, and the investments we have made have brought about success. The young men and women here today have dedicated their time. They have bought into the philosophy, which is the philosophy that we heard in 2017 when His Excellency stood up before the world and he announced to them that I seek equity and parity and I look at Ghana beyond aid. That statement goes beyond statehood and also comes to business, comes to those involved in corporate social responsibility, comes to those who provide for the poor and the needy in the communities. And rugby in Ghana is played often by people with not very much money. In Europe, it is played in public schools and those with money, and here it is reversed. So we have followed those principles. In business, we have made sure that in governance, because I understand from a number of people who have tried to approach His Excellency, especially in early days, and said on a basis of familiarity. And the rumors were that His Excellency said, I'm sorry, if what you are bringing for Ghana is for Ghana, I understand. If it is for deal making, then please do not come to this place. So the ideals and principles upon which we also took into rugby. We have transparency in what we do. We publish our accounts and submit audited accounts and documents and projections to the Ministry of Youth and Sports and to the National Sports Association. And we do so to World Rugby and to Africa Rugby. So we've played by the rules, and I think we have shown as probably the best run of the federations in Ghana and perhaps across Africa, that the proof, as they say, is in the pudding and the eating. We have 4 trophies here to present, and we are truly honored. Mr. President, I've spoken longer than I should, but as you know, if I can get a word in, I try to do that. With your permission, Your Excellency, I would in a second like to ask the captains of the ladies and the men to bring the trophies closer to you. But just before I do that, I'd just like to again break protocol and ask for your assistance, Mr. President. Rugby, the gentlemen and men here today have trained 10,000 Ghanaian school children, quite often those who do not have to play rugby. We are limited in our growth and would have liked to ask if we could ask the Honourable Minister responsible for education to add rugby as part of the national curriculum. It will not cost them money, but it will mean that every time we approach a school, they will not say, we cannot move without a letter from the Ghana Education Service. It will be touch rugby, getting into rugby principle, so there will be no injuries, but it will provide the important tenets of integrity, teamwork, discipline that rugby separates rugby from other sports. And that on the other ground as well, an appeal made to the NSA to enable us to train at the national stadium, Mr. President. We have proved that we are serious, we are well run, but we have been denied by the current NSA boss from using any state facility. We are not allowed to train. We would like to be able to go to the national stadiums at 6 a.m. We will not mark the pitch. We will not put up posts and then prepare ourselves and late afternoon so we can try to succeed. And if there is any little bit in the kitty, and I know that Ken is really struggling, Your Excellency, we would be most grateful for, forgive my very bad Chisa, they say kitwe beans to help us in our difficulties going forward. Your Excellency, our captains, if they could come forward, if I may. Chester.
One at a time. And the executives. First of all, let me welcome all of you. Players, captains, to the seat of the presidency of our country, to Jubilee House. to say this is a very happy day for me to have all of you here. If I hear Mr. Mensah correctly, he says this is the most successful team sport in the last 4 years in Ghana. It means in my period as president, you have been the most successful team sport. So it makes you a very special people to me. And I want, first of all, to congratulate you on the efforts that you have been making that has brought all this renown and success to our country. And it's very encouraging that it is done both by men and by women. The men are succeeding and the women are succeeding. I'm a little bit surprised about the size of the women. Rugby women that I've seen are usually quite hefty and strong. But our rugby women are nice, elegant young girls. As always, Ghana, special, different. But I want to congratulate both of you, both sets of people on your achievement. And very much, I hear the president talking about well-run federations and therefore the success that comes from a well-organized grouping in terms of the investment that is being made in the sport and its organization. All of these are very important pointers for the rest of us of what we need to do to get Ghana sports on a really large and successful basis. I like the idea also that you've opened the doors of rugby to all people, that it's not just people going to privileged schools, etc., but everybody, ordinary people, having access to the sport. It's very encouraging, and I think it's something that you should be very commended for arriving at such a situation. The requests that have been made, to me, these are very reasonable requests. Mr. Minister, you're here, you heard him. Is there a reason why they can't use the national stadium for training? All other sports do. Why would that not be the case for rugby? You may not be able to give me an answer now, but I think it is something that you should certainly look into. You have to look into it, and I think that there should be no obstacle. They should be given the opportunity. These stadia are public facilities. They don't belong even to the National Sports Authority. They belong to the people of Ghana, and they are part of the Ghanaian fabric. They should be allowed to use them. I don't know the reasons why that decision is being given, but I think you should have an opportunity to sit down and look into it seriously and do your best to open the door. We'll certainly discuss with the Education Minister the possibility of adding rugby to the curriculum of sports that, especially since it began to be successful. Why not? They say success breeds success, and if this began to be successful, I think it's a very good indication that it has potential in our country and we should be able to do it. I like the idea of our developing a strong rugby tradition in Ghana. The South African president, Matamela Ramaphosa, is my good friend. And he has been saying recently that he has a problem, and he thinks the way to fix the problem is for South Africa to play Ghana at rugby. Because when we play them at soccer, we always beat them. But he's confident about the outcome of a match between South Africa and rugby. Information that I'm getting here today, I think if we continue to develop, then one of these days I'm going to accept the challenge. And open ourselves up to Sia Kolisi and the rest of them. We'll see. Maybe we can surprise them too. You never know. Yeah. But I'm happy that you've been able to come here this afternoon. I want to encourage you to do as much as you can to improve. The school he was talking about where I was in England, we played rugby there. As you can imagine, from my size, I was a natural scrum half. So I know a little bit about the game. We want to encourage you. And our lady here, our mother here, who looks after all of us at the presidency, the chief of staff, she's saying that from her very limited budget, she's going to be able to find a reasonable amount of seed money to help you for meeting the cost of camping and also providing a little incentive for you, especially now you've brought to us these 4 cups. So she's asked me to be able to tell you that she's going to make available to you 100,000 United States dollars. So you'll get its equivalent to help you for the cost of your camping as well as an incentive to the thing. But this is good news. Let's hope that periodically you'll be coming here to announce more and more triumphs and victories in your way. Especially the female team. I'm very interested in the development of the female team. Yeah. So good luck and thank you very much for coming. And the minister will be in touch with your executives to see how far we can go after this meeting. All right. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you.